What we have here is a ropey looking Binatone 5-star that I've bought off eBay for 25 quid, and I've had the front off, which is why it's and this trim wants gluing back on. I've run it through our company dishwasher because it was absolutely filthy, and when I opened this setup it had been modified to do 80 channels, so it's got the EU on another chip and a relay and all kinds of rubbish. You're not supposed to be putting extra channels on CB2781 sets. I know what people were doing in the mid-1980s when the CPT band became available, and they were faffing about with these sets and putting the CPT band on 2781 sets, which isn't permitted, and they don't work well when it's done. It's such a compromise. Of course, later on the 80 channel UK legal sets came out, and because it wasn't necessary to bodge sets like this, and it's usually good quality ones like this that tend to get affected. Anyway, I've managed to modify it back, and we've been setting up the VCO, and I will just run through the VCO quickly with you. Channel 40 is what you select, and what you're doing is to be putting your test prod on resistor 4, the far end nearest the case. Let's see if we can zoom in on that a bit. So we've got resistor 4 is that resistor which is going towards the back, and it's the extreme left resistor. So it's the back connection of that. So we're on the back, we're looking for 4 volts, and we're going to be adjusting, as I've already done this off camera, we'll be adjusting L1 for 4 volts on receive. So we've got it on channel 40, we've got the test prod on resistor 4, and then we adjust L1 for 4 volts on receive. You then set the radio into transmit, and you adjust TC1. TC1's the red trimmer capacitor just there, and that is then adjusted for also 4 volts on channel 40. And then you select channel 1, and on receive and transmit you're supposed to have somewhere between 1.8 and 2.5 volts on channel 1, which proves it's then in lock, and it is. So that's the procedure on the VCO on the Cybernet 134 board, which is Binatone 5-star radio uses. Now the next thing is transmit power is, I think it's 4, 3, 4 and 5, 4, 5 and 6, something like that, without consulting the manual, but nevertheless it's these 3 coils there. So we've got the first one for transmit there, the second one, the third one. They're now peaked on this set, and then on transmit again we move across and we do the PA, and I have a green plastic tool here, and we're going to be peaking, I'll tell you the numbers because this is important, 4, 8 and 9. 4, 8 and 9 for maximum. Now this radio has gone into transmit as a maximum of 4.4 watts, and we don't want it to be beyond the 4 watts, and so it's counterclockwise of this one, which is L9, to obtain the power that we want, which is 4 watts. So it's counterclockwise. That's important, or the internal SWR would be upset. Now the first thing we're going to do on the other adjustments is the low power isn't working properly. Have you got the service on, Mr. C? Can you get me one with an applicator, please? I've got Mr. C here. We've got a dirty preset, and it's something like 10 milliwatts on the preset there, which is the low power. It's supposed to be 400 milliwatts on the low power setting, and that caught me out when I was initially messing about with this set, converting it back to a normal one. I can't remember whether I bought this as allegedly working or whether I bought it as untested, but anyway, here comes Mr. C with the service all, so we'll just do that. We'll just work that about a bit. I'm sure there's other ones on the market, but I've done this 38 years in. We had a television and radio shop, and then we diversified into two-way radio, and I stick with the product that works for me. Right, so incidentally, when I bought this radio, it came with one of those awful power mics, and we've now got a standard mic connected to it. So I'm going to just put the setting to transmit, and I'm now going to set the low power, which is on the front. When I find it, so many switches on here, and see if we can set up that low power setting. And we can. That's now 400 milliwatts. Right, I'll just press the pause button because I think Mr. C wants to talk to me about something. Right, so the next thing I want to do is to set up the meter, and this needs a lamp doing it in the meter. Oops. This will all get glued back together, honest. So now I'm going to go into transmit, and let's see what we've got on the meter. Well, because we're on low power. Switch it to high power. It's pegging the needle. That's no good to us at all, so we'll just need to set that up. Right, so the meter adjustment on these is RV4. RV4 is that preset there. You've got a horizontal one there, which is what we're looking for. I'll just tilt that up so we can see it. Going to transmit, and we want that to read 4, which is exactly there. I know it's difficult when the bulb's out. You might just be able to see that's not now pegging the needle. Now the deviation on these radios, you've got sensitivity and you've got deviation. I'm just checking if this radio's got mic gain. It has. I'm just making sure the mic gain is to full on the front panel. So with our small handheld oscillator, we're going to go into transmit, and we'll look at where the deviation is. That's a strange procedure. You've got 2 deviation controls, I presume 1 sensitivity. RV6 is the one that's horizontal, and the service manual says set to full, which we will. And then we need to adjust the other one for 2.15, it says. So that's the one that's sticking upwards. And that's quite a swine to get into this. RV2. RV2 is the flat one, so we're turning that to full. We're then putting in the, we're using that oscillator, holding the microphone up to it. We then needed to adjust the one that's vertical for 2.15, and then we just knock it to, well, we set that to 2.2, that's what we want as the maximum, and then we've just trimmed it with the number 2 again. So it's number 2, number 6, and then back to number 2. So we don't want it exceeding 2.2, certainly not 2.5. So a quick whistle test. Voila! And there we have it at 2.2 on the deviation meter. So, as you all know, it's the trimmer capacitor next to the oscillator crystal there, the 10.24. And what we want is 27.79125 on channel 20. Remember, in the UK. So 27.79097. Now, of course, this might have been messed about with because the radio's been illegally modified, or it might just have dropped with age, which is what happens to crystals naturally. That's a little bit high. That's it, 27.79124 toggling 5. So we now have a radio that's doing 4 watts, it's on frequency, and deviation's working, high-low power's working, and considering the state, it's working very nicely. So thanks for watching, and join me on the receive side of the video.